Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Retrospects, where today we will be tackling a very prevalent issue that plagues modern society. In a time when we are burdened with conflict all around us, recession is in an all-time high, and pollution is entering our biology and changing it for the worse, the one thing that the internet can collectively agree on is the fact that the film industry only runs on nepotism. Now admittedly, it doesn't sound as bad as the other issues that I've listed above. But let's face it, it's a lot more easier to tackle than war, which we have also tackled. Link in the cards above, and a lot more fun. So, without wasting any further time, let us begin. In simple words, it is the selection or appointment of people to positions or levels based on their lineage or connection to the people higher up on the ladder. Nepotism has existed ever since humanity has existed, as we all carry the genes of our ancestors, and in them certain privileges and disadvantages. This sort of genetic nepotism, called natural selection, laid out the groundwork for the theory of evolution. We can use this principle to understand why and where nepotism exists, how it works, and most importantly, how to play to our advantage and beat the system. The answer is simple. People want what's best for their children. Most animals in the wild have a very nebulous early phase. During their infancy is when most animals die out. And yet, most fish, amphibians, and reptiles give up on their children even before they are born. They play the numbers game, where if you have enough children, some will survive. Mammals and birds, however, go for quality over quantity. They have fewer children and spend longer raising them. Even amongst mammals, we spend the most time with our children, and with South Asian parents, man doesn't go on for life. But it also speaks to our success. While all other animals are playing the earth game, we are now on a galactic level. This is the most basic argument for nepotism, that if we give our future generations more access to better resources and opportunities, they are going to use it to grow exponentially, furthering the limits of evolution. This is why nepotism exists. All of you may know about Zoe Akhtar's new film, The Archies. Well, for anyone who didn't know, it's a film made by a film industry kid for the launch of many new faces, all of whom are also film industry kids. And this is not the only such big launch in the 21st century. Starting off with Mohabbatein in 2000, then Savarya, then Student of the Year, Heropanti, Dhadak, and finally Student of the Year 2. It seems that Bollywood in the 21st century is nepotism's stronghold. But it's not just the Hindi film industry. Nepotism also exists in Malayalam, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Bhojpuri, Bengali, Odia, Punjabi, Korean, Hong Kong, Japanese, and even in the American and European film industries. Nepotism is everywhere, from film to music and art, to business and politics, and yes, even in the army. Even fields that require qualifications and abilities like sports or the STEM fields also show a high percentage of nepotism. In short, nepotism exists everywhere, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. So, what do we do about it? For that, first we have to understand how it works. For something that involves so many different emotions, feelings, and predispositions, nepotism is surprisingly scientific, almost mathematical. Any situation in which nepotism exists can come out of only a select number of situations. These include being in a position of power or owning the means of production, having an heir apparent to lay claim to the position of power / means of production, creating a power gap that needs to be filled, and creating a favorable outcome that can ensure continued success. Even if one of these 4 criteria are not fulfilled, then there is no way that nepotism will work in this scenario. Therefore, if you want to take advantage of nepotism or fight against it, you must understand what each of these scenarios represents. Nepotism can only exist when someone gets something they want because of their connection to the people in power. Therefore, to have something or to have power over something is a must if you need someone to take something. For example, if one wants to make their child a knight in the medieval world, one needed to have an acquaintance who was already a knight or some sort of landed nobility, as the only way to become a knight was to become a squire to a previous knight. It works in a similar way in the modern film industry, as the only way to land a project is to already have someone actively working in the industry set you up. Being powerful is only one part of the story. To hand over your reins successfully, there are multiple ways to do it. But all of these ways have one thing in common: people. Any successful human franchise has told you, people make up a franchise, and it is from these people within whom your successor will come from. May it be your own child, as in the case of many kings and emperors, businessmen, or film industry elite. Or it may be family or close friends, like Augustus Caesar being the nephew of Julius Caesar. Sometimes it could also be your enemy, as is the case famously with Jhansi Ki Rani and the British, which became the cause for the First War of Indian Independence. Being a powerful person and having people around you isn't enough, as there are roles to be fulfilled, occupied by others, that you need to fill, either by choice or by chance. These roles are key to the functioning of the enterprise, and the people who fill these roles are bound to hold a lot of power. But with great power comes great responsibility, and this makes it such that you need to really be careful about who inherits these roles, as they can either make the enterprise reach great heights or make it fall into the depths of doom. For example, when Bob Iger stepped in as Disney CEO, he took the Disney brand to new heights with the acquisition of Marvel, Lucasfilm and Fox. But when he stepped down, his successor, Bob Chapek, brought the company to a new low during and after the pandemic. Having your successor lay claim to the throne with your blessings is not enough, as they also need to have the blessings of the universe. There is no amount of planning that you can do if fate decides not to side with you. But then again, fate is not a nebulous entity, and with enough knowledge, one can begin to decipher the ways in which fate functions. For your successor to achieve success, you must make sure that their identity is not completely based on yours, and in hindsight, actually reach greatness you never thought was possible. For example, Mukesh Ambani and Anil Ambani both inherited the Reliance business from their father Dhirubhai. But while Anil Ambani faced immense losses and had to declare bankruptcy, his brother Mukesh took the company to new heights, making him the richest man in India. So, with all of this knowledge, how does one make sure that they succeed? Well, there are a few specific ways. Make your presence known. Even if you are a child of nepotism or have been born into nothing, to succeed, you must make your presence known, as one can only succeed if they are remembered. With this, even the most obscure people can rise to superstardom, like Rajnikant with his humble origins as a bus conductor, and even the most famous star kids like Uday Chopra and Fardeen Khan ultimately crash and burn into obscurity. Embrace greatness. For anyone to achieve success, they must be willing to embrace greatness. They should be ready to shoulder the responsibility of the position they wish to inherit, and along with that, manage the expectations of the people around them. One should never make it seem that they are not the right fit for the role, and instead make it seem as if they add value to the position, making it feel incomplete without them filling the role. Achieving this makes one into a superstar, like Amitabh Bachchan, while failing at this makes even Abhishek Bachchan, his son, while being a great actor, not that great a star. Stay likable. A great success story is always underscored by how much love the people have for that person. No one can achieve greatness, no matter how talented or well connected they are, if they are not likable to the public. On the other hand, people with no connections and mediocre talent have achieved immense success in life only by being likable. Therefore, it is imperative for one to be likable if they ever wish to succeed. And there you have it, folks. a comprehensive look at nepotism in the film industry. Remember, success is not all about lineage or connections. It is about making yourself known, becoming likable, and embracing greatness. Thank you for watching. If you liked this episode of Retrospects, please give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends. And don't forget to comment down below about any other topics that you'd like me to cover. Thank you for watching and subscribe to my channel Retrospects for more such content in the future.